up guys, I'm Justin Davis from Drone Camps. Welcome back to the Camps channel. We have a fun video today for you because you guys know that I love this sub 250G long range quad format, and a lot of guys have been building this 3-inch version on the Facebook groups, and I don't know if Diatone took notice of that, but here is a 3-inch version of sort of the little brother to the Roma F4 over here that we reviewed on the channel. Now that's awesome. That one has GPS on there. It's a 4S quad. It's dead cat style. It can carry a SMO 4K camera or a GoPro. If you want to fly it out there with Crossfire, you have Betaflight GPS and return home on that one. This one does not have GPS, so that's the biggest difference here. And this one's about $10 more. This one comes in at $159.99 and this one comes in at $169.99. So if you're looking for something that's going to safely get you back with GPS, you want the F4 version. If you're just going to kind of fly medium range, this one is pretty fine, mostly because I usually don't fly out further than I want to walk out or hike out and pick up this quad if I fail safe out in the mountains. So you can still get some really fantastic shots just flying sort of medium range. And this one does say long range FPV quad on there, but I have a hard time calling something long range when it gets a little over 10 minutes flight time on a Lion. The cool thing about this one is that you can fly it on the 4SP 3000 from GEP, and that's what I'm going to test it on today. We're going to send it out there over the mountain a little bit and see what kind of flight time we can get. It's about 30 degrees outside, so I was only actually getting around just above 10 minutes flight time on this battery, and typically we can get 20 minutes out of these type of packs. So if that gives you an idea about how cold affects batteries, especially lipos, it is kind of an issue. So they have two different style props in the box. We have these much less pitch on these, about 1.8 versus I believe the other ones were 3x2s, so just a little less aggressive. If you want to freestyle this little guy, you can do it with the other props. If you want a more long-range style prop, this one's going to be a little better. And I found that these were the right choice prop for when I'm carrying something heavy, even as heavy as like the Insta360 1R, and it can carry it on the front. It can also carry a GoPro, but your best bet on this quad is going to be something like the Beta FPV Insta360 SMO 4K camera, because you still have a sort of a hyper smooth on there and stabilized footage. So let's go ahead without further ado and let's go out to the mountain now and let's fly this little quad in a few different styles. I'll show you some analog video on the RunCam 2 Nano, and I'll show you some GoPro footage. Here we go. All right, guys, welcome back from the flight test. It's on the scale now, and I just want to jump right into the weight on this little guy. So we're at 126.5 grams, and let's weigh the big brother. The big brother's in there at 168.6 grams, and you can fly either of these under 250. So if you want something a little smaller, you can go for this guy. If this was my second quad, I would be super happy. If I had started out with a Tiny Hawk and then moved up to something like this. The L3 is freaking awesome. So for the beginners, I'm going to set this 3S 650 on there. And look at that, guys. That's going to get you up to 186.2 grams. So that's pretty awesome. If you're going to fly a 4S 650, that'll get you up to 185. And the 4SP, that's going to get you over 250. And we're looking at 329.3 grams there. So depending on where you're flying, you'll want to go under 250G, or if it doesn't matter, then that's no big deal. But 126.6 grams, actually pretty competitive. The Phantom HD, under 100 grams at 96.6, but you have quite a lot more real estate here with this quad. Now, the reason that I pulled out the Phantom is because they make an analog version of this for guys that want an analog quad. This is the analog version. They're also going to come out with a DJI version. RunCam Nano 2 on this one, and Cadex Vista on this one. And I believe they had a Nano 2 on the analog version of the Phantom. Some people maybe say this one's a freestyle quad. Yes, it can freestyle. The tune is okay on there. But I don't really see that this one is a freestyle quad. It's not really what it's for. It's more for a cruiser. So in my opinion, it's the little brother to the F4. So and we're trying to do the same style of flying with this one. If you want a freestyle quad, by all means go buy a Gap RC Phantom, the analog or the HD version. This little guy rips, and it's just a little smaller format than this guy is. So it's really, really still a crowd favorite, even like a year later. So if you want a freestyle, buy a Phantom. Also in the box, guys, you do get quite a few accessories in here. We get 3 different straps. We got a large strap like this guy has for something like a 4S 850, and we get these 2 style straps. A shorter strap if you're going to fly something like a 650, that will work there. Longer strap will actually fit the 4SP 3000, even that smaller style format one, and that's generally what I tend to fly to save a little bit of weight. You also get a bolt set up here for your camera mount. You get Mamba TX400 information. You get the Mamba flight controller information as well. 25 amp ESCs on here, and F4 all-in-one flight controller, so it's all one board, which is really nice. You get some information about Diatone, how to contact them, and how to get customer service. And these are the other props that come with it, the 3x2s. But again, if you want to freestyle it, fly these if you're doing some park flying. And you get some zip ties, you get a screwdriver, you get an Allen wrench. That's for that larger bolt that goes through your camera mount. For your GoPro or your SMO camera, you get another style mount here, and you get some extra hardware. The best thing about Diatone is they always give you lots of hardware, which is really nice. And we get an RXSR cable. So this one plugs right into this little guy that's poking out the side right here. This is your receiver wire, and I wired up a Nano on here. So we're flying Crossfire Nano, and I just quickly put some electrical tape on here with my friend Diego, and we just kind of set it up real quick to go out and do some cruising. So yeah, this is not really the best Immortal T out there, but TBS Nano typically doesn't fail safe on me. So I flew it on the Tango 2, and it did great. So definitely one of my recommended transmitters if you guys are flying TBS this year. But I think as far as the flight times go, I got mixed opinions on the flight time, because I was only getting a little over 10 minutes on my 4SP 3000, testing this out just with no GoPro on here, just cruising around and trying to get out there with some range. So I think since it was around 30 degrees when I flew, that's probably the biggest factor about this. Normally I can get like 20 minutes out of these batteries. So I think realistically I could get 5 more minutes, maybe 14 minutes total if it was a warm day, say if it was 70, 75 degrees. Now the battery of choice for most of you guys, if you want to fly 5 to 6 minutes, would be the 650. If you want to get about 7 to 8 minutes, you can put a 4S 850 on there. And guys that are just starting out, you can get some 3S 650s, and you're probably likely going to get around, I'd say, 6 minutes out of that battery. And really quickly, as a bonus, guys, I'm going to set this 850 on there for you guys. I wanted to do that because I feel like a lot of you guys are going to fly at 850, and without the camera on there, you're going to get around 224. So if you had a TPU mount and SMO on there, you might be able to keep this under 250 grams. I'm going to go ahead and set the SMO on there as well. Just going to pull that over here, unplug it from the flywheel hex, and let's see where I'm at there. 256. So it doesn't look like with this mount you could do that. Maybe if you take this one off and you use a TPU mount only, you might even be able to shave it under 250 with that type of stuff that we have going on there. It is quite possible to get it under 250G. All right, guys, like so I mentioned before, dead cat style frame. It is a little bit forward here on the arms and not quite as far back for the rear arms, but it is very similar to the original F4, like I mentioned before. Almost this exact type of top plate. You could even interchange this front camera mount on both these quads. So if you own both, you could, if you somehow broke one or something, you'll have a backup, which is kind of nice. You do get some M3 sticky tape that goes right on down on top of the top plate. We've got a 2mm top plate, 3mm replaceable arms. We've got aircraft aluminum front camera protection side to side. We've got a crossbar in the front as well. Runcam Nano 2 here, and looks like an ABS style camera mount. 2 bolts in the front, and there is a little plate that drops down under this top plate right here, and so you have no bolt right here, which is kind of cool. So you have a quick release here. It has 4 bolts there, but there's only actually 2 holes there on that top carbon plate, so that's pretty quick. And in the very back here, we have this bottom plate. We have an extra plate back here, so it's kind of a top to bottom sandwich design with our TX400 back here on the 20x20, and that has smart audio already set up. And what else I noticed is that they do have the UFL connector. It has a little top plate over top of it, and they have it screwed down, so that's not going to vibrate loose, which is really, really, really important if you're going to be flying long range. And I was able to crank this up to 400 milliwatt. You can also do it manually with these 2 buttons on this side. You can change bands and channels here on this TX400, so that's kind of cool. Up front here in the middle on a 45-degree angle, we have the Mamba F4 AIO, 25 amp ESCs incorporated into that. And I'm interested to see the HD version of this. I would love to see them release this with a naked cadex. That would be really nice. Now, on the arms for the power system, we have the Toka style series motors. Just bring those in and get them in focus for you. Those are 1206 3600 kV motors. Now, normally, this will give you an idea. Normally on the 3-inch quad, we have something like a 1408 motor. So going down to 1206 on a 3-inch quad really does give us a little bit longer flight time and bring this one into more of a medium range style quad. And that's the point of these quads, getting them under 250G and shaving off weight, as well as making them more efficient and giving us a longer flight time. And that's what this power system is all about. So they are achieving that with doing this. This is shaving off a lot of weight, lightening up these props, and just so much more efficient of a rig, really, than we've ever seen at this scale for the last 2 or 3 years. So this is a really cool trend that's coming around. We have a super tall antenna back here, and you can see that's a right-hand circular polarized Mamba. Very similar to the HD antenna that comes with the CADX version, and hopefully we'll be seeing that version in the next couple weeks. But I think what we have here is a really cool release. I really was hoping to see GPS on the tail back here, but you'll probably be able to get a 3D mount And this one might actually be interchangeable. So if you wanted to buy this mount, it looks like it's the same size. So add GPS later. My biggest question would be, can I actually hook it up on this flight controller? So I'll look into that for you guys and let you know. But overall, yeah, this was fun. This was a lot of fun. I feel like this is kind of like a live experiment out to our FPV community as a bind and fly. So I was really, really happy to get this one in the mail and test it out for you guys with a little bit of fun flying. So hopefully you enjoyed the footage and enjoyed the testing of my L3 here. But thanks again for hanging out on my channel, guys. Please do subscribe because I do a lot more than just fly in the yard, guys. I'll take you out on some adventures here in Oregon. So I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Happy New Year. Bye-bye.